This conference will now be recorded.
Right, guys. So, what was the last discussion? Hello?
Exception handling.
Okay. Any question from anyone regarding previous topics? Did anyone got any problems or any doubts? Okay. Yeah, no doubts, right? Okay. 8.14. See, guys. The last topic, exception demo. Yeah, we started with the exception handling topic. Yeah, what about interface? I asked you to go through interface and give me one small example over interface. Remember, guys, who did work on this interface? Who would like to talk?
I have done it, sir.
Is that Samyukta?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead, Samyukta. Share your screen. Yes. Interface. What is interface? First, tell me how you define interface. Yeah, guys, what is interface? Guys, can you hear me? Hello? Samyukta, can you hear me?
Sorry, sir. I mute my phone. Sorry, sir. Actually, I have declared that is interface is only abstract methods, sir. It has only abstract methods.
Yes. Interface contains only abstract methods, no concrete in the interface, fully abstraction. Interface means fully abstraction. Very good. Then, if there
Yes,
are
sir.
variables, all final variables, public static final variables. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can anybody tell me what is final variable? Anybody else? What is a final variable means?
It has only one value.
No.
Final means constants like pi.
Yes. It cannot be changed. Once if you store a value in the final variable, that can never be changed. That's the final variable means to remember. Okay. Good. Next.
Yes, sir. So I have implemented.
Interface declared by using the keyword interface, and
Yes, sir.
interface always implements, not extends. Even extends also, right? Interface to interface extends, interface to class implements, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me.
Yes, sir. So
Full time degree. Yeah, implements
implements
degree.
degree. Then I have declared the abstract methods, sir. here. So full-time degree is M.Arch, BS. Then degree timings is this. Degree duration is and one more that is part-time degree. I have created one class, sir. So it implements degree, and part-time degree is MBA, and the degree timings is 6 p.m. to 4 p.m. Degree duration is 2 years. Then I have the demo is I have created the object for the class which implements interface for the two classes, full-time degree, part-time degree. Then I am
Okay.
in the degree details. Then I'm calling the methods, degree details, degree timings. Just two methods I'm calling, and I am printing the outputs. Oh, sorry.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, very good. It's very nice. Yes, interface contains only abstract methods and final variables, right? And if you implement interface into the child classes, you must override all the methods. If you must override all the methods into the child class, yes, that you need to understand first of all. Okay, now
Yes,
you
sir.
need to override all the child methods. But in abstract, maybe full, maybe half. If you override abstract, if you inherit abstract, uh, uh, if you have 3 abstract methods, only 3 in overridden. Okay, if you have 10, 10, 1, 1, yeah, that. But interface, any number of no concrete. So for
Yes,
fully
sir.
abstraction, you go for interface. For partial abstraction, go for abstract classes. But both are behaving similar. When you
Yes,
want
sir.
concrete also, then go with the abstract class. When don't want concrete methods, then fully abstraction, go with interface. And using interface, one more advantage is that it can be multiple inheritance. It can be useful for multiple inheritance, whereas in classes there is no multiple inheritance concept, guys. I hope you understand. If you have even abstract class also, you can't take multiple classes as an inheritance. But when it comes to interface, we can go with the multiple inheritance. Implements A, implements B, implements C, implements A comma B comma C, as well as we can say extends class A and implements B, C, D. Anything you can do it, because there is no chance of duplication in interface. Interface means only abstraction. That's what multiple inheritance is possible. We'll see that in our next concept. Don't worry about it. Yes, ma, very good, nice work. Samyukta.
Thank you,
Anybody
sir.
else have done? Mihir, anybody else has done? Guys,
No.
Praneet, Santosh, anybody else? Why you people are not working on assignments? Are you following seriously all topics, guys? Try to do the assignments as well, otherwise you will not become perfect in practicals. Guys, do remember. Okay, we started with a concept called exception handling, and we discussed what is exception handling as well. Now I will look into another different exception handling.
Sir, can you explain that multiple inheritance with
Yes,
interface?
ma'am. Yes, in
Said
the
more.
next topic I will explain with the real time example. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
will come in multi-threading. There I will explain. Don't worry about it. Okay. So yeah, guys. So here I took one variable and I took another variable with the 0. Then it is throwing an exception. But what if I have array new a new int of 5? I declared array of 5. X of 5. Now, for example, system.out.println x of 0. What will be the output? 0 will be the output. No issue, right? Yes, 0 will be the output because x of 0 we don't store anything, so by default it is having 0. Okay, but what if x of 5? Guys, what about x of 5? Still it will be 0 or what? What about x of 5, guys?
0.
X of 5 is 0 according to you. Very good. There is a big exception we got, not 0. Why? Array index out of bounds exception. Because fifth element will not be there in array, right? When you declare 5 means 0 to 4 only, na? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But where is the fifth element? 5 is a size, but fifth element will not be there, na, in arrays. Are you getting my point, guys?
Yeah.
In array, when you declare 5, first element is 0, second element is 1, third element is 2, fourth element is 3, fifth element is 4. But I used 5. If 4, no problem. If 4, no problem. 0, program went successfully, no problem. Okay, now this is one exception. Okay. What if you want to handle this exception, guys? If you want to handle this exception, x of 5, arithmetic exception. See, arithmetic exception. Array index out of bounds exception. I'll put this exception in the catch block. Array index out of bounds exception in the catch block. Guys, is that clear? Now, will that exception handle? Yes. Check. Even though there is an exception, it is going till end of the statement, end of the program. Guys, this is exception handling of array index out of bounds. Means if you want any exception, you can put that many catch blocks. Suppose if I want to handle arithmetic CATCH, arithmetic E E dot print track trace, E dot print track trace. Now you can handle both exceptions, arithmetic exception, array index out of bounds exception. Now it is index array index out of bounds exception. Yes, it is handling. What if I do like this? C equals a by x of 0. X of 0 int c equal to x of 0 c by 0. Okay, na? Arithmetic exception. Why arithmetic exception? X of 0 value is 0. But what if I give x of 5, guys? Which exception will run in this statement? Which exception will run? Exception will run arithmetica array index out of bounds of. Guys,
Array out of bound.
array index out of bounds. Yes, array index out of bounds. Why? Because first of all, when it comes to here, it will throw itself. Yeah, very good. So now this will be handled. Got it? Okay, what if I want to handle 10 exceptions? You must use 10 catch blocks. Can I use one catch block to handle any exception? Is that possible? Anybody will suggest me? Is that possible? Guys, is that possible?
No, sir.
There is a superclass. There is a superclass exception.
Yes, fantastic. Yesterday I shown you one parent class. A parent can handle any of the child. We know that formula, right? Dynamic polymorphism, dynamically runtime. Any exception comes, it can handle. How it is possible? By using parent, either abstract or interface or parent. Yes, exception is a parent class for all the exceptions. So any exception come in the try block, it can handle all. See, array index out of bounds it is handling. Now let me go and give 4. Arithmetic exception is handling. Okay. These are important interview point of questions. So do remember, follow clearly. How can we handle any exception using one catch block? Yes, one catch block can be used to handle all the exceptions, but we must go with the parent rather than each child. So these are the different things I would like to discuss about these guys. Any questions on this? Anybody? No doubts?
Sir, sir,
Yes, ma'am.
sir, could you explain that whether exception is the superclass and it can access all, so all the methods of its child class like arithmetic exception? Is it, sir?
Yeah. See, in exception hierarchy, who is the parent for all the exceptions? All their exceptions, no, under this only, no?
Sir, my question is whether exception parent class can handle the methods of arithmetic exception child class. Is it correct, sir? Exception is the parent class. It can handle the methods of arithmetic exception. Is it correct, sir?
No, we are not talking about methods, ma'am. We are talking about what? What you are catching here, tell me. In the E is a object name, na? Object name holds method or object? For
Object.
example, customer or employee E equals new employee. What do you mean by this? Tell me. What is the job of E? Explain me.
To take the variables and methods, sir.
To store the values of new employee.
Keep reference to the employee object.
Yes, E is the object created for employee. New keyword is creating object for employee class using constructor. Once the object means what? Memory location now. In the memory, some memory is occupied now. So that memory address will be stored in E, assigned to E holding the address of this object. Got it? So E is called as a reference variable referring to this object. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. In the same way, now tell me, exception E means what? What is doing exactly? Tell me. Here,
It is creating
employee E.
reference.
No,
It is creating reference variable E.
no, not creating. Is it here? Observe here. Employee E means what? Tell me.
Declaring, sir. Declaring.
This is declaration of employee. Okay. But at the
Type
time
of
of
E is equal to employee. type of E is equal to employee.
No.
The reference type is employee.
Can anybody explain me whole this like I explained?
E is an object which we have created for employee which stores the values of new employee.
We are creating employee object using new
Right side.
keyword
Right side. Very good.
and
what
keep
about left side?
keep that keep
Address.
reference to that object on E, that E type equal to employee, because we need to keep the type, right? Integer like that.
So,
therefore we need to, it's like that. Employee is the type of E.
Yeah. Integer A equals to 100. What do you mean by this? Samyukta?
Assigning 100 to a variable, sir. Assigning value 100 to variable A of type integer.
Why don't you explain the same way this?
Yes, sir. Creating an object called creating employee object and assigning to variable E of type employee.
Super. Repeat please once again somebody. Guys, anybody repeat once again what she said? Mihir.
Sorry, I wasn't at mute. It means we creating the object employee and we give the name as a E and type is employee.
Samyukta, can you repeat once?
Yes, sir. Int A equal to 100 means we are assigning value 100 to variable A of type integer. Employee E equal to new employee means we are creating object called employee. We are creating an object of employee and assigning it to variable E of type employee.
Very simple, guys. You need to understand this very clearly. Creating object of employee using new keyword. After that, the address of that object I'm storing into a variable. It could be E, A, B, C, D. It could be anything. So E is a variable created by employee class, which is holding the address of employee. That's very simple. Guys, someone repeat once again. What are we doing?
Sir, one more question, sir. Will int equal to 100 hold only the value or the address also?
No. Value only. This is only value, not address. Only value.
Only the that is employee equal to new employee. It will hold only the address, and the data types it will hold only value. Am I right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Classes will store addresses like string, and integer like data types like int will store the values. Am I right, sir?
Classes are called as class variables are called a reference type. Normal data type variables called as value type.
Yes, sir. Like string, it is reference variable, class variable.
Yes. Mehir, can you go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain once again what she did?
Explain this 100 one or employee one? Hello.
Employee one.
Yeah. Okay. So we are creating the object of employee with the new keyword, and we give the name as a E. So E is like we are referencing the hash code, which is the address of that new object, and the type of this object is employee.
Yes.
Sir, can you type this line, sir? String s is equal to hello. So this also, that is, we are assigning the address of hello to variable s of type string. Can we tell like that, sir?
Any class member is a reference type. Any data type member is a value type. So first, see, here generally we used to, this is also I told you, remember? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
This is object now. This is normal variable. This is object variable. So object variable means what? This will not directly store the value, because object means object contains value as well as methods also, right? Yes or no? So the whole object address it holds. If you want to refer the value s dot x equals to 100, for example, s dot length, correct? So s is the reference for referring anything. In your case, we say employee e dot show details e dot x equals to 100. Remember, e does not directly hold the value 100. E contains a variable internally x which holds the value. So E contains a method which performs some action. E itself not doing anything. E is an object name. That object contains variables and methods. So in order to refer any variable or any method, so we use E. Is that clear? Now let us come back. Here one object of arithmetic is coming. So you need to store the address of that arithmetic object. So I have created a reference variable. Can I use here employee E? Is that possible? Is that possible, ma? Can I say employee E or customer E? Still it is okay or not?
It is okay to declare, sir. Then you have to call the method of E instead of print stack trace.
No, in this situation, inside the catch block, employee E, is that okay or not? That is my
No,
question.
sir. No,
No.
sir.
Why no? Why no? What is the problem? Because there is no chance of any exception related to employee, right? We need to hold the object, I mean exception object. So that's what we are declaring here. But employee, is there any exception? No. We have arithmetic exception. We have array index out of bounds exception. So that variable can be acceptable. So what if I declared arithmetic exception? This E can hold the object of arithmetic only. Correct. Does this object, I mean, if array index out of bounds exception comes, does it can handle? Then does it can receive the address of that particular object or not? No. Why? Because this variable E is declared with what? Only arithmetic. So arithmetic exception can handle itself. But I want common. Why? See here, arithmetic is a child. So a child can hold its own address. Full-time employee can hold full-time employee address. Part-time employee can hold part-time employee address. They are childs. But employee can hold part-time employee address, full-time employee address. Now it's clear to all. Here arithmetic is there, the child. SQL exception is there, IO exception is there. Any exception like this can be held by exception parent or not? Now tell me.
Yes.
Very simple. Why? Because it's a parent, boss. A parent can handle any of the child. That's the rule. So that's the reason. If I put exception, now whatever the exception comes from the try block, this catch can handle. That's also we call as dynamic polymorphism, because anything comes from the child, it can handle because of parent reference. A parent reference can hold any of the child. Got it? Yeah. Next point. Next what, guys? There is another key. Yeah, I hope this is all clear to everyone. Can I move forward? Is that clear to all? Can I move forward? No issue.
Yeah. So one more time, a brief explanation.
Which one? Which one? Yeah, this catch means
Exception.
exactly. Yeah, this catch means what? In the try block, for example, arithmetic exception came. So arithmetic exception is what? It's a class in Java. It's a which class? It's a child class. Child of what? According to diagram I shown in the first session, it's a child of exception class. Conduct exception. Not only this, any exception is a child of exception class. So in that formula, if any of the exception comes, does it can receive the object of arithmetic or not? Yes, because it's a parent. If array index out of bounds exception comes in the try block, for example, does it can handle or not? Yes, it can handle. Guys, umbrella can handle rain. Umbrella can handle what do you call sunshine or not? Both. Got the point now? If you wear jacket, then it can handle only rain. I mean, it can protect from the rain only. But in summer, if you wear the jacket, you know what is the situation. Rather than protecting ourselves, we are creating more problems. It is not suitable. I know, right? So some equipments protects many problems. Some equipments protect only particular problem. Similarly, if any exception comes, you want to handle rather than individual, then go with the exception class. If you want individual, then add more catch blocks. So if arithmetic comes, it will come to this. If array index out of bounds comes, it go to other catch block. Like that, you can use any number of catch blocks, guys. So if you don't want to write many catch blocks, the best way to handle the exception is go with one superclass to handle, okay, any exception. Now is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we can use exception anywhere, right? Rather than using arithmetic expression exception or different types of exceptions, we can use
Yes.
exception
Yes.
anywhere.
If you want to handle any exception with one name, better to go with exception rather than going with the individual.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Then why people use many catch blocks? Another question. So if you want to write different code for each exception, will that work or individual will work? Individual. If arithmetic comes, I will do this. If array index out of bounds comes, you do this. If other exception comes, I do this. In that case, you handle individual. Okay, na? Right, guys. Now let me go to explain you one more keyword in exception handling. Okay. Let me remove. Make it clear. And this is equals to a. Yeah. We know that if you run this code a by 0, you will get which exception, guys?
Arithmetic exception.
Arithmetic exception.
Something by 0 arithmetic. What I will do is, before only I will check if b equals 0, then I want to raise myself. So you can use keyword and you create object for arithmetic exception. So whatever JVM doing in this line after getting exception problem, you are doing before. I mean, if b goes 0, then obviously you need to throw an exception, right? So I use keyword in Java throw and I create object for that exception. Which exception? If divisible by 0 means arithmetic exception. So I'll throw it. Guys, is that clear?
Yep.
Okay, now? Now the question, it's already happening here and JVM is throwing exception, you are catching. Then why you explicitly get into that and you do that? When already JVM is doing the same job, why you want to do it explicitly by testing? What do you mean by that? See, JVM itself creating object when it finds the exception here. But why are you creating object? And why are you explicitly throwing? Guys, you understand my point? Are you getting or not?
Yeah.
Where automatically happening, before that only I am checking. Why? Yeah, in this case JVM is handling raising exception. But what if there are predefined, these are all predefined exceptions, arithmetic, array index, out of bounds, so and so. But what if your exception is handled? What is your exception is handled? What you want to handle your customized exception means. Customized exception means what? If you are writing a bank application, insufficient balance exception, is it automatic predefined exception or programmer has to decide what is sufficient or insufficient? If you want to raise a valid age or invalid age exception, does JVM knows which is the valid age, which is invalid age, or you will decide on? Guys, are you getting my point? In those cases, you need to throw exception. So then we use throw keyword. In predefined exceptions, we no need, but in user defined exception, we need to do it. Okay, now let's create one exception.
Sir, could you please repeat it?
Sorry.
Could you please repeat it, sir?
No, in order to work with user defined exceptions, you need to use throw keyword. In order to use predefined exceptions, you no need to worry about it because JVM will take care now. Hey, if something goes wrong, the exception is thrown or not to catch block. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Who is throwing that? JVM only. Okay, JVM only. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So now we'll create our own exception because something by 0, JVM knows it's an arithmetic exception. Array index out of bounds, JVM knows. But what if I create a class age exception? I want to create my own exception related to age, and I will show you how to handle it. So far we discussed about arithmetic array index out of bound. Now I will create my own exception. How can we create exception? You must extend the exception class because all the exceptions are childs for exception now. So I create my class which is the part of exception class. I will write one public string to string method. To string method. Return invalid age entered. Invalid age entered. Okay, now. Now this is my own exception, guys. Do remember. I created my own exception. Valid invalid exception. I want to use in a class called person. I create one more class person and I declared age private string name. Okay, and I define constructor yeah. In the constructor I will first check if age is greater than or equals to 1 and age is less than or equals to 130. Let's assume 130 is the maximum age, for example. Then I will store by assuming it is the valid age, guys. Okay, now it's a valid age. If it is not under this range, what do I think about it, guys? Invalid age, no? Okay, then I need to throw an exception by saying invalid age. So I already have one object here, class. What is this class? Okay, so use new keyword, create object for this throw. Now you are throwing, guys, do remember. Now you are throwing which exception object? Age exception object. Just put try and catch blocks because there is some exception is thrown now. Look at it. In my catch block, how I am receiving my exception with the same class because I thrown which class object? I am throwing age exception. So then age exception is catch here. Now this is what we need to throw keyword because JVM don't know about this. We have to take care and we have to check and we have to throw it. Now let me write one public void show method. Out.println age is plus age. not out dot println name is plus name age name. Why this? Oh, I think it's supposed to be here. It is constructor area, right? Okay. So now what I will do is I create one object in the main method. Person P1 equals new person, and I store 25 age. Name is Sachin. P1 dot show. Person P1 P2 equals new person -3 Sachin, sorry, Dhoni, and P2 dot show. Look at this. The first case, it was valid age. It stored the values and printed. In the second case, it is throwing an error, exception, and when you try to print, they are zeros. This is our own exception, guys. Now I shown you how to create our own exception and how to throw on your own. This is what throw keyword. Throw keyword. Try, catch, throw. 3 keywords are almost completed. Guys, go through this and try to understand clearly. If still any problems, let me know. If any doubts, you can raise now. Do you have any doubts? Anybody?
Sir, you previously explained the difference between constructors and methods. Why should we send values in constructor, and why should we use methods? Could you explain that difference?
I didn't get you, ma'am. What I
That is,
said?
we are sending values in constructor itself, sir, and we are also creating methods. So when should we use constructors to send the values, and when should we use methods to send the values?
Methods we never send with the values. Where did I show you methods? Methods I am using to print. Methods I am doing some logic. Compute salary is a method. Show details is a method. Get full name is a method. Which is operating, which is performing some operation. Method always perform operations. Constructor only store the values into the variables. Constructor only store the values into the variable. When you are creating object, constructor is called. See, you are creating object with values. So you are calling indirectly constructor to store the values. That's it. Constructor job is to store the value into the variables of the object. After that, methods only, no more constructor. Constructor only executes once. After that, on those values, if you want to perform any operation or you want to print anything, you can go with the methods only. Constructor job is fixed, only one job. Okay now?
Okay, sir.
Right. Chalo. Here I shown you to test the logic. Either you can use setter or constructor or anything. Anybody else, guys? Okay, guys. So we wind up and you go through all this video, and we'll meet in the next session tomorrow with a new concept. Okay. Bye, guys. See you.